Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. You're joining us on the final day of the National Ijtema of Majlis Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya in the United Kingdom. We're at this venue in Kingsley, Hampshire. Atfal and Khuddam competitions are taking place side by side simultaneously. So let's take a look at what some of the Atfal have been involved with.
Atfal have been kept busy throughout the Ijtema this year with a whole host of activities. From various academics to the hub, there is truly something for everyone to do. Over at the Atfal arena, the competition is intense as Atfal compete to recite the best azan, nazm, or deliver the most compelling speech. At the hub, there is even more to keep Atfal busy. An F1 simulator lets Atfal express their inner Lewis Hamilton. There's a punch bag for Atfal to test their jab. And for those who enjoy more leisurely activities, a tactical game of chess is on offer. We spoke to some Atfal to get their views on this year's Ijtema.
Today we are at Kingsley to celebrate our Atfal and Khuddam Ijtema. I went to the exhibition and to the hub. I met all my Atfal brothers at the hub playing sports and doing competitions. It was an amazing opportunity to see after 1 year. I went to the academics area and I took part in Azan, Tilawat, Hifz-e-Quran and Hifz-e-Hadith. I had lots of fun and I was mostly with my friends.
I like listening to the speeches in all of Ijtema because then I also get the chance to learn new things. It encourages me to get better and better in all the things I have been doing.
I'm here today, just like every other year, to come back to the National Khuddam Ijtema.
Now, to talk a bit more about some of the Atfal activities and what they've been engaged with, I'm very grateful to have with me Shoaib Ali Saab, who is Mu'tamim Atfal. Jazakallah for joining us.
Jazakumullah for having me.
So, how important is it for Atfal to come to an event like this, and what benefit do they get from coming here?
So it is very important and it's very vital for Atfal to attend these Ijtemas. There's different reasons. The first one, the most important one is that Atfal actually get to see other Atfal brothers. That instills within the love for Khilafat and Jamaat as well. And also, when they take part in different activities, that gives them confidence, which helps them, in later part of their lives as well.
Absolutely. And speaking of those activities, you must have ideas to keep things fresh and new every year. What are some of the unique and new ideas which you've come up with this year?
Okay, so the few ideas that we have come up this year, first of all, is the science experience. So with the guidance from Hazur last year, where Hazur has challenged Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya as a whole to increase their knowledge and get better academics, we have introduced something called science experience, where we have different science activities where Atfal can come and take part and actually see how the science works. So and they take that back with them and try to excel in their school lives as well. But also we have other activities like Young Marvin Championship, where they come and enroll themselves and they have been given a task. So for example, how to organize an Ijtema. So they're given a task and they organize that and they get position on that basis. The other thing that we have is the Young Marvin Championship, which is basically that Atfal come in and they volunteer themselves for a timing, and then what they do is they take part in different vocariums throughout the Ijtema, and yes, so there's 3 activities I think that introduced this year.
Amazing. So is it right to say that they're learning something and enjoying themselves at the same time?
Definitely, I think yes. So the feedback's been very positive from Atfal, alhamdulillah. They've been learning a lot.
Brilliant. And good luck for the rest of the day, and Jazakallah for joining us.
Okay. Jazakumullah.
And apart from the scheduled and planned competitions and academics and sports, there's also been exhibitions running on display. So let's take a look at some of those.
हमें खुद्दाम कहते हैं, हमें खुद्दाम कहते हैं, हमें खुद्दाम कहते हैं, हमें खुद्दाम कहते हैं। हमारी गर्ज़ गायत जानो मालो रखना खलीफा का कहा करना उसी से आरज़ू रखना.
Welcome to the 2022 National Khuddam al Ijtema. Here I'm standing outside the exhibition. Let's go take a look inside. The first exhibit here is dedicated towards Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. It has various letters from Her Majesty to the Jamaat. It has a message from Hazur after her passing. Moving on here is an exhibit asking the question, what is Waqf Nur? It is of the utmost importance that all Khuddam and Atfal know the importance of Waqf Nur, and they should truly know why they are dedicating their lives towards the Jamaat. This is a Voice of Islam radio exhibit. They are also recruiting. So if you feel confident speaking and you have the knowledge to talk about topics, I think it's best you help the Jamaat and help the people. This exhibit here is regarding journalism. And I think it's important that we all realise the true necessity behind journalism. And it's a very important role and career. And it's best to know all about what is happening right now. This exhibit here is dedicated to the Quran. It's got many copies of the Quran. It's got many ways you can memorize and learn the Quran. Here they have stated that they need Quran teachers. It is important that we understand, obviously to know and understand what God's message is a beauty in itself. But what's even more of a blessing is to help others understand it and help them learn how to read the Quran. Here is Al-Fazl's exhibit. They have many leaflets written in Urdu and many posters and banners written in Urdu. So I think it's important that we read it and take in what they're saying. This here is talking about the impact that the Jamaat has had on various countries. Here you can see this is a small fraction of what the Jamaat has done. And it's only been possible with the grace and blessings of Allah the Almighty and the guidance of Khalifa al-Masih V, Aidul Tala bin Nasr Aziz. Right here is the timeline dedicated to the growth and beginning of the Ahmadiyya Jamaat. I think it's important that we understand our history as Ahmadis ourselves, and it's important that we understand why we are Ahmadis, and then, only then, can we help others understand what the true beauty of Ahmadiyyat is.
हमें खुद्दाम कहते हैं हमें खुद्दाम कहते हैं हमें खुद्दाम कहते हैं हमें खुद्दाम.
So at this year's Ijtema, some of the events, especially some of the sports activities, have been scaled back due to the very sad demise of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II just a few days ago. In fact, just a day before Ijtema started. And so it was decided just to reduce some of those sports events and activities out of respect and also to reflect the very somber mood of the nation at this time. So to find out a bit more about that, I have with me Mohtamim Seta Jismani, Abdul Rauf Lodi Saab, who is in charge of sports and health and fitness. Jazakallah for joining us.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Exactly.
So can you just describe what changes were made and how you came to that decision?
So as you mentioned, there's been a scale back in the sports activities that mainly consisted of the outdoor sports basically being cancelled. So obviously that's basically all the activities on the sports ground. So that was decided a day before. So our team, we were obviously discussing and planning how can we best adapt to this change with the least impact to those attending and those looking forward to those activities. So that was the main change, and we then sat down and saw what can we transfer to the indoor sports, because we also have indoor sports activities. And yeah, so that's the background behind the decision, and what we could was shifted to the indoor sports, and a lot of changes were made, but we tried to keep what we could make.
And how did you come to that decision?
So we planned, and we thought we received the guidance for the reasons you've mentioned, to pay our respects to Her Majesty, and what we decided is, if we looked at the space in the indoor sports marquee and we took in some of the sports, but we as a team who worked actually on the day before this news came through, we actually prepared the whole ground. Obviously, as it happened, we were all saddened, and we got the guidance, and we adapted to it, and that was a way for us paying our respects. There were other activities happening as well. There was an exhibition dedicated to Her Majesty named Loyalty and Dedication, and there was other things like a book of condolences, just to make Khuddam aware of the sentiments of the country, the nation, and yeah, so we went along with that. And we passed on this message to all the captains, the participants that have registered, and the response was actually really good, because of this background.
And of course, Ijtema did take place last year, but it was scaled back itself because of COVID restrictions and things. It's coming back to full scale now. How has that been for you?
Yeah, so coming back to full scale, probably almost double the attendance, meant for us that we need to be more organised, more planning was involved, and more non-competitive activities were happening. So this is one of the reasons we've packed out the indoor sports marquee with things like Formula One simulator. We've had, for the first time, we've had a chess and Scrabble competition. After 9 years, we've brought back indoor basketball. The last time basketball happened officially as a competition was in Islamabad. And we had some other stuff. We had table tennis as a competition for the first time. We had some other things we haven't done before, just for leisure, like football, tennis. There was some weightlifting again as a competition. There were some other fun activities, pool table, whatever for people. But that was one of the main challenges because, the sports activities, the competitions, only so many people take part. So we need to also cater for all the other Khuddam brothers that come and may not take part in any competitions. So we just try to, use these other non-competitive fun activities, leisure activities, to keep our Khuddam and Atfal brothers engaged, and just keep them looking forward to the event maybe next year as well. So that was one of the main changes from last year, and obviously with the adaptation of not having outdoor activities, our indoor sports marquee actually became really busy. So alhamdulillah, I hope the Khuddam enjoyed it. From what I could see, they did. There's huge crowds, a lot of cheering happening, and it was a positive feedback, and alhamdulillah, I hope all the guys enjoyed it.
Brilliant. Jazakallah Lodi Saab. Jazakallah for joining us. And later this afternoon, inshallah, we are expecting Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz to grace us with his presence and deliver the concluding address at this year's Ijtema. So we will leave you at this point with a video report about the hub, which is a central location which has a lot of different activities where Khuddam and Atfal can be engaged with. So do take a look at that report, and we'll see you again for another live report at 7 p.m. UK time. So until then, Jazakumullah and Assalamu alaikum.
One of the main attractions at this year's National Ijtema is the Hub. The Hub this year features more exciting activities for Khuddam and Atfal to participate in. The gaming zone provides attendees an opportunity to compete and play games with their fellow Khuddam. The punching bag is a great way for Khadim to test their strength. And a new addition to the hub this year is Skylectrics, a racing challenge. But by far, one of the most popular activities was an F1 simulator, where Khadim were given the opportunity to race against one another. Another must-see was the Hub Cafe, selling milkshakes, waffles, paninis, donuts, and much more. Let's speak to one of the hub workers now.
To be honest, after such a long hiatus where we couldn't get together and meet each other, it's nice to see all these happy faces come in, and being able to serve Khuddam, it just feels beautiful because as I said before, that long hiatus where we haven't been able to work and get involved with the Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya, see people, it feels very good.